So starting with the books then, Maxi The Lifeguard. So what is the series all about?
Yeah, so Maxi The Lifeguard, over the years, the last 3 years, we've been working on what we can do with the children's book series, and we start off with fiction, set in Bondi, pretty much teaching kids
Based on your
well,
experience.
I was getting to that. So it started off as more of a fictional story, and then as we were doing the writing and as we were doing the voice recordings, we'll go and hang on, like this is a lot of its truth to it, like my upbringing as a kid and aspiring to become a lifeguard. So kind of threw a few fiction things in there, but really a lot of it's all
based on
me as a 10-year-old. I'm so happy to have books 1, 2, and 3. A lot of people don't even get a look in with the one book. So the fact that I've got a series of books, they're fun, educational. You learn something that could potentially save your life, or aspire to become a lifeguard. That's what we thrive on.
And I think as well, it's like what makes the books different is the fact that it's not a instructional manual. It's a story. Yeah. It's a fun story that captures kids' imagination.
Yeah, definitely. You just nailed it on the head. A lot of people think, it could be a CPR book or something about rip currents, but we've managed to write it where it's a story, 15-chapter story, and entwined with that story are scenarios that you might come across when you go to the beach. So, for the example, rip currents in book 1, the last couple of weeks, unfortunately, 50 people have died around Australia, and the reality is a few of them have been rescuers. So, in book 1, one of the topics is set in a fiction kind of scene is, sometimes rescuers do drown as well. So we're trying to teach kids from a young age that, tragedies do happen, you're not invincible, and accidents do happen.
I think at least 3 or 4 of the main subjects that have created the news from a negative in the last 3 weeks, have been covered within the books. So the rescuers drowned too, the rip current, the fact that the back of the book in book 1 is about rip currents, and even in Queensland we've had an incident in the last week with blue bottles.
Yeah, well,
and we covered blue bottles.
We've pretty much covered everything in the 3 books: heat stroke, rip currents, Dr. SABC, asthma attacks, getting lost at the beach, dealing with even personal stuff, bullies, teamwork, aspiring to become whatever you want to be. It's not just the safety factor. There's a lot of as a kid reading it, it's character building for them for sure. Teaches them how to deal with everyday struggles, not just on the beach.
Yeah, and I think that as well, it's one of the few books that is as appealing for girls and boys, because girls are lifeguards too.
Oh,
and
definitely.
that the little Maxi and his friends, it's a team, and there's girls and there's Rachel in there and there's Felix in there, and Rachel's a really a strong, competent girl, and it's aspirational for girls and boys.
Definitely. Over the years, I've been hit up by a lot of people on social media. A lot of them have been girls of how they can become lifeguards at the beach. It all reverts to what I was saying before. Just make sure you train hard. You know your basics. You stay up to speed with all the first aid and resuscitation certificates, and just throw your resume around to all the councils, and hopefully I'll be working alongside some of you one day.
So, what were the main messages that you want the kids to take away from the book?
So the main messages I want people to take away from the book is... I lost train of thought. Basically, what I wanted to drum into people, especially the kids, is to feel safe at the beach, to know what to do when they're in trouble, to be able to aspire to want to help people. And it's a fun story. It's an educational story. I wasn't the best at reading books at a young age, but I kind of pinch myself now. I wish I read a lot more. Now that I've written a couple of books, I can't fathom enough how important it is. Education is key, and a lot of it's common sense. a lot of people, you know, look into things too much, read manuals and read by the book, but if you stop, take in what you see, make that judgment, is it going to hurt you? Could it hurt someone? You know your risks, know your hazards. Don't be too precious, but also have in the back of your mind, if things were to go wrong, have a plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E.
Yeah.
And
know your own ability as well.
Know your own ability, and everyone wants to be a hero, but sometimes rescuers do drown. So if you are, you know, keen to help, you don't have to you don't have to put your literally body on the line, because like I said, rescuers do drown. You can do little things to achieve a rescue, a successful rescue, by calling 000, by alerting a local lifeguard, by grabbing a flotation device, by taking a deep breath and assessing if the person actually is in trouble, because there has been cases where people have been out in rips and people have gone in thinking they are in trouble, and the person gets out and the person that goes in there ends up drowning. So it's not just the beach, it's also rivers, lakes, dams, pools. We've got a pool behind us here. You know, make sure you have fences around your pool if you have young kids. Take your kids swimming lessons. If you go to the beach, swim between the red and yellow flags. If you see a beach and you're scared of waves, you know, stay close to shore. Don't aim for where the water is nice and calm, because a lot of the time people get confused and they think, you know, there's no waves breaking here, well, I don't want to get my hair wet, and they jump in and that's where the rip current is. So usually, not, you know, I'm not saying 9 times out of 10, but, you know, 7 times out of 10, where the waves are breaking is usually where a bank is. And if you stay close to shore, in between the red and yellow flags, you should be safe.
Yeah. And also with the books, they're equally as helpful for adults as well.
Yeah, I've already been given good feedback over the last couple of months of parents reading the books to their kids because they're a bit too young to read by themselves.
Yeah.
And they've taken in key messages and things that they thought they knew but they didn't. So I didn't want it to be one of those average books. I want expert advice. I wanted my personal experiences told in the book, you know, dealing with asthma attacks, dealing with people stuck in rip currents, dealing with people that are potentially, you know, resuscitations. A lot of it's first-hand experience, and I've done hours and hours and hours of voice recordings, and we've made sure that it was all correct.
Yeah. Really.
It's very, very important, and unfortunately, like, and I'm just throwing it out here, but it's you know, we launched in September, and you know, when we first launched, we were told by media that it's too early. You know, the summer's too far away, and we're not really focusing on the drowning statistics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Fast forward a couple of months,
5 weeks on,
50 people have passed away from, you know, from drowning. So I don't know. I'm just trying to do my best, and me and Lee both are trying to do our Live, Learn, Survive workshops and trying to visit as many people as we can. But you know, it'd be good to do a bit more media about it because it's very important.
I think that nicely segued into Live, Learn, Survive, and really the books are timeless, and the story in there will survive the test of time, and the information in there can last forever.